we are in the chapter of right to equality, and I was talking about various aspects of Article 14, 15, 16, the reservations, then the OBC reservation, many things we talked. Now, when the OBC reservation was finally introduced, the Mandal Commission report was finally implemented, and it was challenged in the Supreme Court in the Indira Swani case. And in that judgment, it was said that there cannot be any reservation in promotion and all. Creamy layer should be considered. So, all these aspects were discussed. So, now this reservation in promotion issue was challenged in the, because once the reservation in promotion was removed, government naturally went ahead with some constitutional amendments to ensure that there is reservation in promotion for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So, this Nagaraj case, Nagaraj versus Union of India 2006 case, now I would like to discuss. This is about reservation in promotion. Okay. So, the heading I would like to give is reservation in promotion or the Nagaraj case 2006. So, what should there be reservation in promotion in the first place, and what were the various provisions and why this reservation in promotion is an issue? That is what I would like to discuss in this particular video. It is a very interesting, a bit controversial, but many a times things are controversial because we do not know the real the facts and figures, the real data behind the whole thing. So, once you understand, many of you oppose the reservation promotion also will understand there are some issues, some grey areas which we cannot ignore. So, that is how the the Nagaraj case came and the reservation promotion issue. So, the issue was that the constitution, see now many constitutional amendments were made. So, to start with, what is the background of the case? Many constitutional amendments were made to challenge or rather to nullify the impact of the Indira Swani case. So, the parliament passed many constitutional amendments. To nullify the impact of the Mandal, the Indira Swani judgment, to nullify and it clearly mentions passed many constitutional amendments. To nullify the impact of the Mandal, the Indira Swani judgment, to nullify the impact of the Indira Swani judgment, or we can say the Mandal Commission judgment, especially on the reservations in promotions for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So, which is going on, reservation in promotion for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes were going on, and the questions were related to various amendments. Say for example, the 77th Amendment Act 1995, 77th Amendment Act 1995. See, this 77th Amendment Act 1995 inserted clause A, 16(4)(a) was introduced. 16(4)(a) was introduced, and it clearly mentioned that there can be in the 16(4)(a), if you look at the 16(4)(a) and what was there, it was the once again, say 4A says that nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any provision for reservation in promotion. Okay. So, it should not, article 4A, the article 16(4) shall not prevent in the state from making any provision for reservation in matter of promotion to any class or classes of posts in service in favor of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. in the opinion of the state if they are not adequately represented in the service. So, this brings in reservation. 14A clearly mentioned that state can provide reservation in promotion for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So, that is 14A was introduced, article 14A 16(4)A was introduced. So, that was challenged, that is one of the issues which are challenged in the Nagaraj case. The second was the 81st Amendment Act. So, this is 77th Amendment Act, then came the 81st Amendment Act. 81st Amendment Act. So, 81st Amendment Act in 2000, it said that which inserted clause 4B. So, 16(4)B was introduced, and in 4B, now what was there in clause 4B? Let us look into that. So, that was the what you call the 81st Amendment Act. It said that for an unfilled vacancy of a particular year, if if a separate recruitment is done, then the 50% quota, see in the Mandal Commission judgment, it was said that in the Indira Swani judgment, it was said that in the court, whenever a recruitment take place, the percentage of reservation should not cross 50%. So, if there is an unfilled, 4B says, if there is an unfilled in a seat, and for the unfilled seat of say in reserved category, and if there is a special recruitment drive is conducted in subsequently to fill that unfilled data. See, suppose in a particular year 100 seats were there for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, just give an example, and in that particular year recruitment only 60 could be filled. So, there are 40 vacancies, 40 unfilled vacancies. Now, what was happening in many cases, these unfilled vacancies used to be filled by the general category subsequently. But to avoid that, this 40 should be filled by the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So, there can be special recruitment drive. So, during that time, then Supreme Court in the Indira Swani judgment, it was said that any recruitment, only the reservation, the upper limit of the reservation is only 50%. So, if you are doing a special drive for this 40 seats vacant from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe quota, then if you are applying the 50% means that automatically 50% of the seats will go to general category once again, or the merit, so which should be avoided. So, should be avoided. So, article 16(4)B was introduced, so that in subsequently if there is a separate recruitment drive is done, then this 50% ceiling will not be applicable. So, 16(4)B says if the recruitment is to fill the unfilled seat of the reserved category, the 50% limit, the 50% upper limit of reservations are not applicable. So, this 50% upper limit will not be applicable. That is what it was in the 81st Amendment Act. So, once again, we are overcoming, or we are trying to overcome the Indira Swani judgment. First of all, the Indira Swani judgment said there cannot be reservation in promotion. Now, we have added 16(4)A, there will be reservation in promotion for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes only, not for OBC. Then there is a mention that there should not be, there is an upper limit of reservation, that is 50%. There is a ceiling of 50% will be there for reservation in any recruitment. Now, to overcome that, we have said that if it is to, if the recruitment is to fill the unfilled vacancies, the previous vacancies, belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and if the special drive, and in that this 50% limit will not be there, and it can be even 100% only for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, because that is to fill the unfilled vacancies which were there in the previous recruitment. So, that is what the 81st Amendment Act. Then came the another amendment which is under question was the 82nd Amendment Act. So, then 82nd Amendment Act again in that year, 82nd Amendment Act, that is related to again in 2000 it was related to Article 335. We added a provision. See, the 335, Article 335 says claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes to the services and posts. It is related to claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes to the services and posts. See, certain the all India services are there, revenue service, then certain recruitment is for the posts, so that is why services and posts. So, the claims of the members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe shall be taken into consideration. In fact, Article 335 says that the claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe should be taken into consideration consistently with the maintenance of efficiency of administration. Claims should be there, and while maintaining the efficiency of administration. While maintaining the efficiency of administration. So, the claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes should be considered while maintaining the efficiency of administration in making the appointment. That is what the three there. But in this 82nd Amendment Act, we added one more clause. In fact, the Indira Swani judgment said that the merit is equally to be considered. So, there was a question mark on when we can there be relaxation in the eligibility criteria and all. So we have added just one more sentence in the 335, Article 335, and now says that provided that nothing in this article prevent the state from making relaxation in qualifying marks in any exam. So, Article 335 said that while considering the claims of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in recruitment of services and posts, there can be relaxation in qualifying marks in any exam. There can be relaxation in qualifying marks. There can be relaxation in qualifying marks in any exam. So, this provision was added through this. So, this provision was added through this 82nd Amendment Act. So, earlier in the Indira Swani case, it was very particular that the merit should be is an important criteria, or Amendment Act. So, earlier in the Indira Swani case, it was very particular that the merit should be is an important criteria, or lowering the standard of evaluation should not be there. That is what Indira Swani judgment said. So, we have added in 335 that. So, while considering the claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, there can be relaxation in qualifying marks in any exam, or lowering the standard of evaluation for evaluation for the reservation in matters of promotion. So, these criteria was added through the 82nd Amendment Act. This was also challenged. Then 85th Amendment Act came. So, many amendments took place. 85th Amendment Act, this was in 2001. It said that it changed, then changed the provision of Article 16(4)(a) once again. See, now it is a very interesting scenario. So, the interesting scenario is I can give you with an example, then you will understand how exactly this is working. Imagine say candidate A and say candidate B. A is a general category and say B is a scheduled caste candidate. A was recruited in say 1990 to a post. Say B was recruited in 1995 to a post. Same post, okay, same post. A was recruited in 1990, B was recruited in say 1995. This is a very crude example just to make you understand. Say imagine A can get a promotion say after say 15 years. Say B, because of reservation in promotion and just to promote the idea of promotion, I'll just come to that. Say a B can get a promotion in say 8 years. So A is the senior, B is the junior. But what happened in 2003, after 8 years plus 8 years, B got first promotion to 2003. In 2003, B got promotion and B became senior. A is the junior right now. Finally, A also got senior promotion. So in 2005, A got the first promotion. Now the question is, who will be the senior? Now 2005, A also got the same post. Now who should be treated as the senior? B should be treated as a senior or A should be treated as a senior? That is the question. So, various people, interpreted variously, and the court also interfered finally. The court said that A should be treated as senior because he joined the service first. But the other argument was that, no, B got the promotion first, so B should be the senior. But finally, a constitutional amendment was passed. So, this article 16(4)(a) was amended to ensure that B, whoever get the promotion first will be the senior in that post. So, in article 16(4)(a), what we have added is, there was a, in 14, this 4A, 16(4)(a), we added one clause whereby it was mentioned that with consequential seniority. Okay, so the word was that consequential seniority. So in matters of promotion, it was said that nothing in this article can prevent the state from giving promotion, reservation in promotion with consequential seniority. Consequential seniority. This word was added, consequential seniority was added in 16(4)(a). Meaning, consequential seniority means whoever got seniority or whoever got promoted first, consequently, will be not the recruitment stage seniority. Consequently, who got seniority, they will continue to be the senior. So it is in favor of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. That is, if you got promoted first, you will be the senior irrespective of your joining date. So that is how the article 16(4)(a) was amended. In fact, now what is the 16(4)(a) talking about? So you please see, it says after the amendment, after this this amendment of not the recruitment stage seniority. Consequently, who got seniority, they will continue to be the senior. So it is in favor of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. That is, if you got promoted first, you will be the senior irrespective of your joining date. So that is how the article 16(4)(a) was amended. In fact, now what is the 16(4)(a) talking about? So you please see, it says after the amendment, after this this amendment of 85th Amendment Act, after the 85th Amendment Act, now 16(4)(a) says, nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any provision for reservation in matters of promotion with consequential seniority. So, this word with consequential seniority was added. So, this promotion for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes will be with consequential seniority, not based on when did you join the service. See, generally what is said is whoever joins first will get the promotion first. But here in this case, it is not necessary, because scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are given the provision of promotion, reservation in promotion, and they are getting faster promotion, because we want more people to be in the higher level. See, now what is the logic between reservation in promotion? So, these were the 4 amendments. These were the 4 amendments which were in question under the Nagaraj case. Okay. So, this is 77th Amendment Act, 77th Amendment Act, then 81st, 82nd, 81st Amendment Act, then 82nd Amendment Act, and then 85th Amendment Act, 82nd Amendment Act and 85th Amendment Act. So, these 4 articles were challenged in the Nagaraj case, because all the 4 of them were to dilute or to overcome the Indira Swani judgment. Now, my question is, why reservation in promotion in the first place? Please understand, in what was the purpose of reservation itself for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in the beginning? In 1951, why did we introduce this? See, the idea is, in a democracy, democracy is not, democracy is for all. We the people of India, all of us are participating in governance. It is our government. We are there in governance, whether it is political leadership or the bureaucratic leadership. Everywhere, every section of the society should participate. But we know, because of the social discrimination and the social inequalities, certain sections, especially those who are identified under the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe category, they are not in a position to compete. They were not in a position to compete with the rest of the crowd, or rather the so-called upper caste. So, we thought, or rather the government felt that to bring in participation in governance, so we introduced this reservation to bring participation in governance. To bring participation in governance. So, we want every section to be part of the governance, every section to be part of the government. Now, if you go by common sense, or if you go by the normal organic process, even if we provide education to all of them, right, with full effort, it would have taken many years for the members of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes to come up and compete with the rest of the general category, the upper caste, and then get a job. We cannot wait that much. See, democracy means participation should be there. So, we thought, let us give some quota, or some seats reserved for them, so that they can join. Say, for example, in 1951, we have merged all the ICS officers, Indian Civil Service officers, also into IAS, IPS and all. Now, suppose in 1951, say recruitment, say for IAS, and we gave reservation also, say reservation, scheduled caste 15%, scheduled tribe 7.5%. But so we got officers, say out of 100, say 15 scheduled caste officers, 15 scheduled caste officers. Now, the point is, but they are in the lowest rank. I mean, I am talking about only IAS I am talking. They will be joining at the lowest level, at the, as a the probationer, then district collector, like this promotion has to come. So, by the time if a scheduled caste officer has to come to the upper level of decision making, so secretary level and beyond that, cabinet secretary and all, it will take another 30, 35 years. See, so in 1951 we started reservation, and the first expectation where you, in the first year, when you can think of having a cabinet secretary or a chief secretary, after 35 years of service, they can become a cabinet. So that means in 1986, the first officer will be eligible to become a chief secretary or a cabinet secretary and all. So 50 years, 35 years would have gone. So we felt that. See, political leadership felt that we need to give some faster promotion to these, so that they can also come up to the higher level. Because see, democracy means the last person also should be counted. There should be enough opportunity for everyone to come up to the higher level. That is the logic behind democracy. Then only participatory democracy will be there. So we wanted faster promotion to ensure that these officers come to the higher level as early as possible, so that every section of the society is participating in the decision making process. So that is how the reservation in promotion idea has come. So that is how we introduced this reservation in promotion. Now many people are asking, should we need it now, because already so much of reservation has taken place. So now reservation promotion is going on for some time. So these officers might have come to the top level already. So we should stop reservation promotion. That is a general feeling. But in reality, even today, see, because of our inherent, various aspects. See, now once you became IAS, now please understand only one thing. There cannot be, now you cannot say those in a general category officers are more meritorious than a scheduled caste, officer. See, you are writing the same exam. You have the same eligibility criteria is there. You have to be a graduate first, then you have to write preliminary exam, they have to write the main exam, they have to face the interview. See, the only difference between a general category and a scheduled caste candidate is some marks. So the general category may require 50 marks extra. See, but it is not that scheduled caste candidate did not score marks. Just 50 marks, 60 marks difference. See, now you see, in right now, if you look at the situation, just for making it clear, see, right now in 2020, if you want to become IAS in general category, you need to be around 100, within 100 rank. But if you want to be a scheduled caste officer, a scheduled caste candidate to become IAS, you may be, you have to be in the first 300 ranks. Then only you may get as a scheduled caste, you will become an IAS. Now, what is the difference? Or even 350 or even 400, if you think that, no, you want to, no, it will be slightly less, even 400th rank. Now, what is the difference in marks between a 100th rank candidate and a 400th rank candidate? That is what you should look. Then you will be surprised to know a 100th rank, 1000th rank, 100th rank and 400th rank, the difference could be just 40 or 50 marks. The difference in marks required is extremely low. In every mark, there will be 4 or 5 candidates after 100 rank and all. So you just 1 or 2 answers here and there. You cannot say that, a person, the only advantage as a scheduled caste candidate, if I am that candidate, I will be getting is, I may not have, written 1 or 2 answers here and there. 1 or 2 marks here and there. Maybe because of my upbringing and the poor background and the secluded background from which it came, my marks in the interview might have been slightly less. Maybe 10, 15, 20 marks less in the interview. Only because of my lack of exposure. I might not have been studied in a convent school. I might have come from a normal school. I might not have studied in the best of the not have been studied in a convent school. I might have come from a normal school. I might not have studied in the best of the Delhi public schools. So because of that, total including interview marks, 40, 50 marks, 60 marks, not more than that. So you cannot question the competence of a scheduled caste candidate at this level. So we are all joining at same competence level with slightly different marks, 1 or 2 questions here and there. So I am equally competent as a scheduled caste candidate. I am equally competent. I reached that level. Now you look, even scheduled Indian foreign service also, same thing. Now, recently in the parliament there is a question asked about this. How many Indian forest service or foreign service, not forest, the foreign service officers are either ambassadors or high commissioners? This question was asked in 2015. That will tell you everything. In 2015, the question asked in the parliament was that how many Indian IFS officers are ambassadors or high commissioners? How many officers are ambassadors or high commissioners from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC? See, there were total 127 posts. See, by your logic, by our logic, with so much of double promotion, so much of reservation in promotion, otherwise also recruitment is 50%. Just see, 49.5% scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC put together, 49.5% reservation. 50.5% reservation is for the, that is for general categories only, or rather the general merit is for 50% only. Now, according to the answer given, out of the 127 posts, only 26 posts are filled by scheduled caste, scheduled tribe or OBC candidates. I am adding even OBC. 101 posts are filled by general category. Now, if you go by the percentage, it is general category is 80% and scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC put together is 20%, 20.5%. 20.5% is the exact percentage. You just calculate and see. 20.5% for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC put together. 79.5% with OBC also including. Forget about scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Now, where is the social justice here? How can you say that once I became an IFS officer with 1 or 2 marks here and there less from the category? Why this percentage? Why I am saying, see, if the percentage is just maintained, it would have been 50-50. 49.5% should have been from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC. 50.5% should have been from the general category. That is number 1. Number 2, if there is reservation, promotion and double promotion in many cases for scheduled caste and scheduled, their number should have gone up. See, ideally, if the situation was that scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC members were 70% and 30% from general category, then I would have said that yes, reservation in promotion should be stopped because too many officers are there on the top. Your problem of representation is solved. But even today, I am talking 2015 data given in the parliament. You can cross check and verify. This is what it has been found. It has been found. So that means even after reaching this level, after completing and fighting with everybody, getting almost equal marks, 1 or 2, some marks, 10, 15, 20 marks. See, with that also, if you are not able to get equal treatment at such a coveted post, IFS level, you can imagine even now discrimination. So my submission is even now discrimination, even at this level it is going on. They are not allowed to come to the higher post. Had there been justice, the number of officers from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC should have been much higher than the normal numbers, much higher than the general category numbers. Now you see 20% from these 3, 80% from general category as ambassadors and high commissioners. That shows that things are not fully well within the system. There are, hidden discriminations going on. That is why they are not able to get. Now, come to the, hidden discriminations going on. That is why they are not able to get. Now, come to the higher education, the professors. That is another data which is published in 2019. Now, this also will tell you everything. Again, given in the parliament, this answer was given in the parliament. 40 central universities and this UGC, and maybe IGNOU all put together. The number of professors, central university data I am talking. See, it was said that at the assistant professor level, that means from the bottom level, assistant professor level, there were total of 7,548 assistant professors, out of which 35% were from the schedule OBC, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, 35%. So, the government data I am talking. Okay. So, from them in that, it was found that 927 were scheduled caste. Just for information, scheduled caste 927, scheduled tribe, just to have an idea, 437, because the reservation is there, and OBC is 126, OBC, OBC is 1114, sorry, 1141. Okay. So, then some physically challenged also, so I am not just counting that right now. So, that is how the assistant professor level. But when it comes to associate professor, the first promotion, associate professor. Now, this is the internal. Now, the internal play starts. See, associate, total number of associate professors are 1043. Sorry, 2524. Total 2524. Now, when their percentage come associate professors from the reserved category, it is only 7%. Now, the difference, you see, for associate professor, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC, 7.05%, and from scheduled caste, just 131. Then the scheduled tribe, 34, OBC 0. I am talking about 2019 figure. Of course, OBC reservation started late, that could be the reason. In 1990, 0. Then comes to the professor. So, that means just 7%, 7.05%. Now, let us come to the professor level in the central, 40 central universities, 1043 professors. This is this is not my figures, it is given in the parliament. Professors 1043 total. Now, out of that, how many are there from scheduled caste? Scheduled caste 43, scheduled tribe 9, OBC 0, and so the percentage is 5.94. Scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC put together 5.94%. See, where is the justice? Where is the over promotion? Even after providing reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, reservation in promotion, OBC there is no reservation in promotion, that is why their number is 0. So, these two data should tell you how unequal the system, within the system also, this hidden discriminations which are going on. You cannot say, that is what I am repeatedly saying, take the case of IFS. You equally got good marks, one or two questions here and there in one paper, or one or two answer here and there in your interview. You might have got slightly less marks, 30, 40, 50 marks total difference out of 2025 marks. Not a big difference. You are marks, one or two questions here and there in one paper, or one or two answer here and there in your interview. You might have got slightly less marks, 30, 40, 50 marks total difference out of 2025 marks. Not a big difference. You are at equal level, but when it comes to all these, there are issues which we have to address, which is there. So please understand, it is not a black and white game. So when we say that when you argue that reservation and promotion should stop now, reservation has started from 1951, but the data in 2020 also shows a different picture. So you cannot be outrightly rejecting this idea. Anyway, so now all these questions were raised in the Nagaraj case 2006, Supreme Court. Now what is the judgment? Now so why reservation and promotion I said already. Now let me come to the Nagaraj judgment. See, in the Nagaraj judgment, Supreme Court upheld all the 4 constitutional amendments. It upheld 77, 81st, 82nd, 85th Amendment Acts. Supreme Court said it is valid. So there is no problem in these amendments. That is number 1. Number 2, Supreme Court said that, but at the same time, the state should collect quantifiable data showing backwardness of the classes. The state should collect quantifiable data showing backwardness of the classes. See, they should say these classes are continued to be backward, showing Supreme Court said it is valid. So there is no problem in these amendments. That is number 1. Number 2, Supreme Court said that, but at the same time, the state should collect quantifiable data showing backwardness of the classes. The state should collect quantifiable data showing backwardness of the classes. See, they should say these classes are continued to be backward, showing backwardness of the class. That means if you are giving promotion, if you are giving promotion, reservation and promotion for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, you please collect data of quantifiable data showing this community is still backward. That means in the Indira Swani judgment, the improvement in the development or the developments which has happened cannot be ignored. That is why creamy layer was introduced in OBC. The progress of the society cannot be ignored. That was said. So you please collect quantifiable data showing the backward. Show that scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are still backward. Bring in quantifiable data. Number 2. Number 3, Supreme Court also said that they are inadequately represented. Prove that scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are inadequately represented in government or in the various posts, okay, in public employment. You come up with the data and say that, see, in fact, article 16(4)(a), once again I am repeating, this 16(4)(a) is very important. It says, 16(4)(a) says, there can be promotion, reservation promotion for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe with consequential seniority, provided in the opinion of the state these communities are not adequately represented in service. Okay. If they are not adequately represented in service. So, you have to come up with quantifiable data to say that they are not adequately, prove that scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are inadequately represented, because article 16(4)(a) talks about if they are inadequately represented in service. So, since you say that, please come up with the data and say and prove that they are inadequately represented in service. So, this was this was the the next point, or rather this is the condition put forward by the Supreme Court, the third point set. And the fourth point was that article 335 says that there has to be, there cannot be the efficiency in administration. Article 335, please note, I already mentioned about 335. 335 says that the claims of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes should be taken into consideration consistently with the maintenance of efficiency in administration. So, Nagaraj judgment says efficiency in administration should not be compromised as per article 335. So, efficiency in administration should be ensured. Verdict says you cannot, keep in mind the maintenance of efficiency of administration as mentioned in article 335, no compromise in this. Then one more point, in the Nagaraj judgment it was said that don't cross 50% reservation, don't cross 50% limit. So, reservation you continue, we have no problem, but 50% reservation cannot be exceeded, and cannot ignore creamy layer. Cannot ignore creamy layer, and you cannot extend reservation indefinitely, and cannot extend reservations indefinitely. Okay. So, don't ignore creamy layer concept, and don't extend reservations indefinitely. So, that is how the judgment came. So, it accepted, the point here is the Supreme Court accepted the 77th, 81st, 82nd, 85th, all these amendment acts. Reservation promotion is possible, consequential seniority is possible, there can be special recruitment drive only for filling these vacancies, there is no problem, and there can be reduction in the marks or qualifying for filling these vacancies, there is no problem, and there can be reduction in the marks or qualifying marks for admission in various positions from the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe category. Everything has been accepted, but follow this condition, but collect quantifiable data showing that the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe continue to be backward, prove that they are inadequately represented in government, then you ensure that there is no reduction in efficiency in administration, and don't cross 50%, and cannot ignore the creamy layer, and cannot extend the reservation indefinitely. These were the conditions put forward in the Nagaraj judgment. So, because of this, the reservation and promotion has come to a standstill. Now, what was the effect of this judgment? Effect of the judgment. See, the effect of the judgment was that since the government was unable to come up and prove that, see, they were asked, the government was asked to prove that, come with quantifiable data showing backwardness of the class. They are still backward, come with the quantifiable data. How is it possible? It is not that easy. You have to set up another commission to every time to come up with the quantifiable data is very difficult. See, because caste census and all is not that an easy, then there has to be census, then they have to come up with the data. It is a very difficult data to come up. But they may be able to come up with inadequate representation. So you are giving reservation promotion, but you have to prove that every time you have to prove that the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe members are less than the actual percentage required. So quantifiable, inadequate representation, quantifiable data you bring in, then bring in data for this efficiency, maintenance of efficiency in administration is maintained, again very difficult. So because of that reason, things came to a standstill automatically. But meantime, the in UP, the UP Power Corporation Limited, UP Power Corporation Limited, they made some promotion of scheduled caste and scheduled UP scheduled tribes are not much, so scheduled caste promotion was done in the UP Power Corporation, and this, when they did the promotion, naturally people went to the court saying that Nagaraj judgment's conditions were not fulfilled. So Supreme Court in 2012 gave the judgment. So this is the UP Power Corporation Limited judgment by Supreme Court, UP Power Corporation Limited judgment in 2012 related to reservation in promotion, because they gave reservation in promotion, but without fulfilling these conditions. So Supreme Court said that the Nagaraj judgment is final. The state will have to provide. I mean, the Nagaraj judgment is when it has to be fulfilled, and reservation promotion can be done, but provided the state has to collect quantifiable data showing, provided you can provide, you can give this promotion as per the various constitutional provisions, but Nagaraj judgment is valid. Give quantifiable data. Give quantifiable data to prove that the community is backward. So scheduled castes are still backward. So scheduled castes are still backward. Come up with quantifiable data. Then you prove that they are inadequately represented. Inadequately represented. Inadequately represented, and also prove that efficiency is not affected. Efficiency not affected. So Supreme Court in 2012 said that you prove it, then you can provide, otherwise they have struck down the reservation in promotion in UP Power Corporation. So they struck down by saying that the state did not come up with this data, so you cannot. So naturally the reservation in promotion came to a standstill completely. But finally, once again, so various states, everywhere it has stopped. After, literally what we can say, after 2006, there is no reservation in promotion. But in 2019, there in 2019, there was a Karnataka law. See, this was the same issue, reservation promotion related to a Karnataka law. Supreme Court judgment came. Supreme Court said that the 2006 judgment is still valid. 2006 Nagaraj judgment is still valid, no doubt regarding this. But Supreme Court held that states need not collect quantifiable data on backwardness, need not collect quantifiable data. Now, some relaxation, need not collect quantifiable data on backwardness, because that is the most contentious thing. And also, it was said that it is not mandatory for the government to give reservation in promotion. It is not mandatory to give reservation in promotion. So, Supreme Court said it is not mandatory. Yes, it is a special privilege, not a mandatory provision. It is not mandatory that it has to be done. And at the same time, the state need not collect quantifiable data. So, because of this judgment, so in fact, there was also a demand for reviewing and the Nagaraj judgment with the higher bench, but that was rejected. This five judge constitution bench, this 5-judge constitution bench in the Karnataka case 2019, rejected that there is a need for a new constitution bench or a higher constitution bench. They said these quantifiable data need not be there, and still you can go ahead with the promotion. So, the final conclusion is, once again it was said that yes, these are the issues, but there can be reservation in promotion even if there is no quantifiable data, but state should certify that. Without quantifiable data, state will have to certify and say that the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes are still continue to be backward and their representation is not adequate in the government. So, you can do. So, the 2019 Karnataka judgment or rather Supreme Court judgment on Karnataka case has once again opened the possibility of reservation in promotion in the government services for scheduled castes and see, this provision is exclusively, this is only for scheduled castes and scheduled tribe. OBC, this is not included. In fact, the law is not, there is no law to provide reservation in promotion for OBCs. This is available only for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes right now, and their representation at the higher levels are even now very, very low. I have already proved it with the example of Indian Foreign Service as well as professors and associate professors, posts in 40 central universities has proved that there is hardly any social justice even after getting recruited, even after passing such high quality exams. So, there are issues in our country cannot be. So, you by simply, I have seen many people blanketly without knowing anything, you say that no, there should not be any reservation in promotion. We have already given some reservation in the beginning, but if that is the logic, they should have been coming up and their number should have been at least that much percentage of recruitment at every level. That is not happening. It should have been more actually, because there is a reservation in promotion. So, things are not that black and white in our country. There are many issues, there are many underplays. There is a behind the scene game where, and it is always against this poor and the marginalized section, the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and OBCs are a victim of the various designs and plays, underplays or the inner game which is going on within the departments and within the institutions, which is a very sad aspect of the whole thing. There are many ways in which things are being, the justice is denied in many cases. So, that is the Nagaraj judgment, and then the subsequent the position of reservation and promotion in government services for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes right now.